In a matter of seconds, everything these families worked for all their lives gone. Foundations left where homes once stood. Good evening, I'm Samantha Cozy in Charleston. It is the kind of weather scene we usually only see played out in the movies, but it was very real for families in southern Ohio tonight. Tim Irr is live where a funnel cloud touched down in Gallia County. Tim.
Sam, I'm in a rest area right now, and we're not far. We're in between Gallipolis and Rio Grande. We're just a few miles down the road from Rio Grande, Ohio. And right now we're in, I guess you could call this spot right here the epicenter of what amounted to what everybody saw, a twister. A twister touched down in this rest area and took apart 5 tractor trailers. And we're going to take a look at some of the aerials right now that were shot earlier this evening, shortly after the twister touched down. Now, we can tell you that there were 3 injuries, and 3 of the injuries took place right here in this particular rest area. We can also see from some of the video, from some of the aerials, there was damage outside the rest area. We mentioned the 3 injuries, 2 people taken to the hospital. We should also mention that in the Porter and Evergreen areas, they had severe wind damage. Now, one of the things that you have to remember is in a 3 square mile area, that's what we're talking about where we saw some of the severe tornado damage. And we're going to leave it up to Tony, Sam, to decide whether or not he talks to the weather experts to decide whether or not for sure that it was a tornado, because we haven't received any confirmation from the EOC office yet about that. We're going to bring in Raquel Dixon. Raquel has been following this storm all evening. In fact, she got here about a half hour before I did. And Raquel, you really got to see a real eyeful just over the hill from this rest area.
Tim, it was really amazing to see everyone. I mean, we got here not too long after it happened. People were very chaotic. They didn't know what to do. People think that a rest area is somewhere you take refuge when bad weather comes around. This was the worst place anyone could have been. There were things thrown all over, the debris on the streets. There were even mobile homes. Some people told me they witnessed it lifted into the air, and what was left was thrown across there in the median. So it was quite a sight here.
Raquel, we're going to take a look at your story. Maybe you could set it up for us.
Well, basically, we talked to some people. They were here at the rest stop. We also talked to some homes that were affected. The good news is nobody was injured, but some homes were very destroyed. These stairs used to lead to Jason up the pieces of their destroyed home, Tim.
And Raquel, one of the things that you have to remember is the fact that this came and, we're just not used to tornadoes like that in this particular area, and people were surprised. One girl I talked to said she was bringing her car up the road, and then all of a sudden she turned around and saw the tornado coming. She figured the only chance that she had was to wait for the tornado to lift, and this is obviously somebody with not much experience in this, a young girl. Wait for the tornado to lift up. She got underneath it, and she thinks that's what saved her life. We're going to bring Kevin Plants right now. Kevin Plants is with State Farm, and Kevin, you work in the State Farm office. What did you see tonight?
I've made it out to a couple of the clients' homes, a couple of the farms in the area. The one particular lady lost all their barns, some of their light machinery, tools strung all over the fields, and just lost everything.
And what do you expect to see tomorrow, Kevin?
A very busy day. I've made some phone calls to our claim representatives tonight, and I'm hoping to have a couple extra hands in the office first thing in the morning.
Hey, Kevin Plants with State Farm, thanks very much. Kevin's stuck in here all night. Obviously, he has a lot of work ahead of him tomorrow. Speaking of somebody who has had a lot of work ahead of him tonight, somebody who has been on the clock with these floods and now with this tornado, Tony Cavalier, can you tell us what's ahead?
Well, right now, Tim, all is quiet. The atmosphere is kind of catching its breath for tomorrow's storm action. And
crashes Dateline tonight.
Welcome back to our storm coverage. We are taking a look at the map, which is the path of the storm this evening, the tornado path. The colors in red, Gallia County, that's where the tornado actually touched down. Now, when you cross over the river to Mason and Jackson County, the area is purple. There was some wind in that area, but no damage to report. Welcome back to our live coverage of what is our storm area. We're going to take a look right now at some aerials that were shot earlier today. Aerials right around what we call the epicenter of what was the tornado. Now, the helicopter has some great shots here that you can see some of the horrible devastation and damage that was done. It's unbelievable when you look at the pictures to think that there were no injuries in this storm. The storm covered what amounted to a 3-mile radius around this particular rest area. And this is one of those rest areas on Route 35 that is on both sides. We're right now on the westbound exit. Now the eastbound side, they had one truck that was damaged over there. There were 4 that were damaged here. 2 cattle trucks were damaged. All the cows, we can say that all the cows were okay. All the truck drivers, except for some minor injuries, were okay. The trucks didn't fare so well. The trucks that were heavily damaged, one of the trucks, we're going to take a look at what it was carrying. Luckily, bottled water. So the rescue workers, and there are hundreds of them here right now, have had, and we have too, we've had bottled water to drink all night. A lot of it was undamaged, so it'll have to go back to the Kroger company, which provided this. We're going to take a look at some of the offloading of some of that bottled water that happened this evening. This is part of the cleanup that will take place this evening. I asked the emergency workers how long it would be until they had everything cleared up. They said they're going to be here all night, and they'll probably be here all day again tomorrow, just getting the basic cleanup done, Tony.
And Tim, we actually followed the storm from Gallia, Mason, all the way into central West Virginia, and it actually had tornadoes.
Pizza deal from Pizza Hut.
You're getting a close-up look at just how damaging a tornado can be. The tornado that came through here in Bidwell, Ohio, did some tremendous damage to some of the vehicles that we see on this parking lot here in the rest area. We're going to get an up-close look at exactly what happened to the truck that is behind us. As you can see, the truck itself is a total disaster. This was the truck that was carrying all the water bottles we told you earlier, and this is the roof to that truck. This is the tin roof. The tin roof has been completely sheared off that truck. You can imagine what it was like for the truck drivers who were in these vehicles and in the cattle trucks that were taken apart by the storm, by the tornado. We're going to talk to Larry Boyer right now. Larry Boyer was one of the first emergency workers on the scene. Larry, tell us what it was like for those truck drivers when you reached them.
They were terrified when we got here. I mean, they were scared. 2 of them was trapped, and we got them out of there, but they were really scared.
And I imagine that's one part of your job is to try to calm people down. But after a storm like this, it must be difficult on you too.
It's difficult for us to be calmed down, exactly, because we've never seen anything like this before. Then.
Hey, Larry Boyer, thanks very much. Larry's going to be here all night long with so many of the other folks who are still here. It's going to be a long and restless night for the emergency workers, Tony. And one thing that we can say is, at least, obviously, the worst is over. Some folks thought it might rain this evening and make their situation here in the cleanup even more difficult, but at least that didn't happen.
We do expect some storms probably mid and late morning tomorrow. Gotten at them tomorrow, guys.
Just incredible. Thanks, Tony.
Well, that does it for us this evening. We can tell you, though, that coming up at 5 o'clock in the morning, Rob and Melanie will join us once again, and Adam Joseph will be live from this location right here at the rest area in Bidwell, Ohio.
All right, and we now join the Tonight Show in progress. Have a good night.